Welcome to The Explainer. All right, let's get right into it today with a huge question. What actually makes a life feel complete? We're going to dive into some Stoic wisdom, look at a few history lessons, and even some modern ideas to figure this out. So let's kick things off with this really powerful idea from a biologist, David Starr Jordan. He basically said, look, the real measure of a life, it's not how long it is, it's what it was lived for. It's not about counting the years, it's about the why that fueled those years.
And that one simple shift, well, it just reframes everything, doesn't it? Suddenly, we're not talking about a number. How many years did you get? We're talking about something much deeper, something qualitative. What was it all for? That's the question that's going to guide us through this whole thing.
Okay, so Section 1, the real measure of life. Yeah, it's not about duration, it's about purpose. We're going to dig into this fundamental question, what really, truly makes a life feel whole? And our starting point is this idea that the answer is all about what that life was aimed at.
All right, moving on to Section 2, the gift of being alone. This is all about the Stoic truth of self-reliance. And, we're going to explore this really foundational Stoic idea, the power of radical self-reliance. And let's be clear, this isn't about being lonely. Nope. It's about mastering your own internal world.
So check this out. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, he made this absolutely crucial distinction. He realized that anxiety, it's not some monster chasing you from the outside. No, it's a weight that we carry inside ourselves. And what does that mean? It means we have the power to just put it down.
And this whole idea of taking responsibility for your own inner state, it goes way, way back. The philosopher Epictetus, who was once a slave, by the way, he put it so bluntly. He just said, blow your own nose. I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's also this incredibly stark reminder that even the most basic acts of taking care of yourself, well, that's on you.
So when you feel that uncertainty, right? That feeling of being totally on your own, it's not a crisis. That's not a sign that something's wrong. As Pema Chodron points out, this is just the normal condition of being fully alive, of growing. It's actually proof that you're awake.
And get this idea is so timeless. You find it in ancient philosophy, and you find it in modern pop culture. I mean, Taylor Swift. It just proves that this feeling of self-reliance is completely universal. It's like wisdom doesn't need a passport, right? It just shows up where it's needed.
So here's the real takeaway, the hidden gift in all this. Being on your own, this self-reliance, it's not a burden, it's a gift. Why? Because it gives you total, ultimate ownership of your inner world. No one, and I mean no one, can take your true self away from you. Only you can choose to give that up.
Okay, so this brings us to the real test, right? The tough part. It's one thing to have this internal compass, but what happens when following it is going to cost you big time? That's what our third section is all about. Courage, cost, and character. Basically, what are you willing to stand for?
Just think about this Roman senator Helvidius Priscus. This guy openly criticized the emperor. He knew it could get him exiled or even killed. But for him, and for others like Rutilius Rufus, being cut off from all the power of Rome was a better option than being cut off from themselves, from their own character.
And this gives us a really powerful definition of courage. See, it's not about being fearless, not at all. It's a conscious calculation. It's being totally aware of what you stand to lose, but at the same time knowing that there are some losses that are way, way worse than that one, like losing yourself. Okay, now look at this table. It's a little jarring, right? A diamond-encrusted sofa for 200 grand and, well, the other thing for 500 bucks. It highlights a crazy point about value. The price the market puts on something can be completely, totally disconnected from its real human worth. It's a huge reminder that we can't let the market tell us what's actually valuable.
Andrew Carnegie really got this. He said if you want to be happy, you need to set a goal that's not about the money. It's about what it does to you. Does it take over your thoughts? Does it free up your energy? Does it fill you with hope? That's the real measure of a goal's worth.
Okay, let's get practical. How do we actually do all this stuff? How do we live with purpose and courage when we're in the real world, a world where we never have all the information? That's what's up next in Section 4, Practice for the Real World.
First things first, we have to swallow this kind of humbling truth from the historian David McCullum. He said, nothing was ever on track. When we look back at history, it looks like this neat, tidy timeline. But the people living it, they had no idea what was coming next. They were just like us, living in their present moment with a totally incomplete picture.
And that's just the reality of life, isn't it?
Every single decision we make, it's basically a creative solution to a problem. And we're making it without all the facts. It's like we're always trying to solve for x in an equation where we don't even know all the numbers.
And this right here, this is the huge difference between just being a wishful thinker and being a truly prepared person. The wishful thinkers, they sit around and wait for the picture to be perfectly clear, which, spoiler alert, it never is. But prepared people, they act. They move forward with the partial picture they have because they know that's all anyone has ever had to work with.
So the key to all this is practice, but not just any practice. We're talking about the mindset of don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you can't get it wrong. The whole point is to build your character so deep down that the right response just becomes a reflex, an automatic reaction, especially when the pressure's on.
Okay, so we've got all these different pieces, right? We have purpose, we have self-reliance, we have courage, and we have this idea of practice. So the big question is, how do we tie it all together into something that makes sense? How do we find the coherence in our own story? That's our final section, your life in 3 acts.
So writer Stephen Pressfield uses this really cool, really powerful structure that he actually borrowed from Bruce Springsteen's songwriting. He says a life, it's kind of like a great song. It has 3 acts. You've got the hook, which is where things get started. Then you have the build, where everything gets more intense, the stakes get higher, and finally you have the payoff.
Now, listen, because this is probably the most important part of the whole thing. Act 3 is not a return to Act 1. You might end up in a place that looks similar, sure, but you are not the same person. You can't be. The journey itself has fundamentally changed you.
And that right there brings us to our final definition. A complete life, it's not a life that avoided all the bad stuff, all the hardship and loss. No way. A complete life is one where all 3 acts, the good, the bad, the transformative, are all integrated into one coherent self. You become the person who is formed by what you lived for.
So, here we are, right back where we started, but hopefully with a much deeper understanding now. What is your life being lived for? This isn't just some abstract philosophical question to ponder. It's the central organizing principle of your entire life story. So I'm just going to leave you with that to think about. What is your life being lived for?